The highly anticipated fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis just took place, and the reactions are pouring in from all corners of the MMA world.
What are you feeling right now, my friend?
Like normal fights. I like to be in the cage more than outside, so it was fun. Last minute, get some punches. Be happy.
There is a new UFC middleweight champion. His name, Khamzat Chimaev. One of the most dominant performances that we've ever seen in a UFC title fight ever. He beats Dricus Du Plessis.
I'm not making it up! I'm not making it up! I'm not making this shit up! They avoid combat at all costs! You are a human! Get out of this combat sport! Ah! Chimaev landed a shot that looked like it could have hurt! Chimaev landed a punch that maybe could have caused damage to his opponent. Ah! He did it again! That actually might have hurt Dricus! There might be a chance that Dricus winced at that shot. What are we doing, dude? We can't put this on Paramount! We can't put this on Paramount! Cancel the deal!
Dricus gets on top. Dricus is in mount! Dricus is in mount! Oh my god! No! Dricus has to choke? No. Dude, Dricus, do something, brother. You got 10 seconds left. So Dricus tends to use explosive leg, heels to the floor, sit up torso kind of get-ups. These require a lot of energy and they create a lot of motion, and it's a big problem. But if I'm Dricus, I'm just hanging out. Yeah, all right, so Khamzat Chimaev is your new champion. Bro, I have so much to say on the post-fight show. I have so much to say about that performance. I have so much to say about that.
Big kick from Dricus. Chimaev shoots in and gets it. Ah, it's over, chat. He got the body lock again. He avoided combat again. Back to his position against the cage, holding another man up against the cage and knee in the thigh. Oh no, dude. What's Chimaev? Dude, 5 seconds left. Anything could happen. Ah! No, nothing happened because it's a f***ing Chimaev fight.
That dominance was insane by Khamzat. The boogeyman becomes the champion.
Yeah. 50-44 on all three judges' scorecards. It goes the distance. And the best way to describe this fight, in my opinion, was domination. Absolute, total domination. Just listen very quickly to some of these numbers here. Khamzat Chimaev landed 510 strikes, according to ESPN's Fight Center. 510 strikes in this 5-round fight.
Deze dag gaan we overwaken. Ja, maar ja. Essa dúvida que eu do meio da área. Engale a área da gente está ali, engale a zona. Aí, está ganhando o tipo ali. Até a rua de Luma canta uma canção. I think that that alone, hopefully, will be there. Yeah, well.
Like 2 more.
Cheio de arrugo de lá, cego. Vai vir uma amiga ali, uma ali.
Do you still want to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi?
We'll see what they say. I'm ready always, so no injuries.
Did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely you're going to do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
One of the most notable voices leading up to the fight was Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. Johnson, who had analyzed Chimaev's ground game in great detail, had warned that Du Plessis would need to be cautious if the fight went to the ground. According to Johnson, Chimaev has an almost uncanny ability to neutralize his opponent's recovery attempts following takedowns. He was particularly effective at controlling key posts on the mat, which often allowed him to dictate the pace and direction of the fight when it hit the floor. Johnson's analysis suggested that Du Plessis would face significant challenges if Chimaev could impose his grappling early on, especially considering his overwhelming pressure and ability to smother opponents.
He always waits right here, and this man will shoot from here. There it is, there. Look how deep that shot was. He gets all the weight. He pushes the weight that way, and it forces you to put your hands on the mat, which you have to carry his weight. Then he's also kicking out this fucking leg. So he's blocked this, but he's also kicking that leg out too. He's big for the division. He's also longer than Robert Whitaker, so he's able to do that as well. Once he ensues in the wrestling and the grappling aspect, his last thing on his mind is striking. If he gets DDP here, DDP is going to have a very, very hard time surviving.
Anthony Hernandez also threw his weight behind Du Plessis, suggesting that the South African could very well surprise the world. Hernandez, who himself was on a 7-fight win streak, pointed to Du Plessis' size, awkwardness, and relentless pressure as key factors that could give him an edge against Chimaev. According to Hernandez, Chimaev had shown signs of fatigue in his previous fights, particularly when facing smaller opponents. He also believed that Du Plessis' conditioning and size would give him an advantage, especially in the later rounds. Hernandez went as far as to say that if Du Plessis could weather the early storm and avoid being overwhelmed by Chimaev's wrestling, there was a real chance he could take over and even finish the fight as it progressed.
I think DDP is going to surprise the world, man. He's awkward. He comes forward. He doesn't get tired. Khamzat gets tired with small guys that were 155ers, you know what I mean, that went up to 170. So I'm still not really sold on him. I know he's good. I know he's Robert Whitaker, but like I said, the old is very one-dimensional. They only have one tool. If you can get them to the floor, it usually seems that they have a bad night. And that's just the honest truth of how I've seen it play out.
Gerald Meerschaert, who had faced Chimaev back in 2020, also offered his take on the matchup. Meerschaert's previous encounter with Chimaev ended in a lightning-fast takedown and submission in just 17 seconds, but despite the quick defeat, he wasn't ready to count Du Plessis out. Meerschaert believed that Du Plessis' physicality and movement would cause problems for Chimaev, especially if the fight stayed standing. He also pointed to Du Plessis' ability to avoid being overwhelmed by a grappler's pace and suggested that if Du Plessis could keep the fight on the feet for long enough to land significant shots, he had a real shot at winning. Meerschaert felt that Du Plessis could retain his title with a solid 60 to 70% chance, but it would require him to avoid getting smothered by Chimaev's grappling in the early rounds.
My prediction, I honestly think is going to be Dricus. Now, that being said, like I always say, like I look at things like percentages, I'm not going to be shocked if Khamzat wins, you know what I'm saying? But if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say like 60-70% Dricus, just because I don't know. I think he's going to be too big and too physical for Khamzat to like catch in those first couple rounds. Now, that being said, again, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but like if he does, that's, you know, freaking amazing, and that's nuts, and like that's awesome. More power to him. But just personally, I think Dricus will, you know, I think his movement, his unique fighting style is going to give Khamzat problems in that sense, and he's going to charge in and be like, oh my god, this guy's kind of huge, and that might kind of deter him from maybe putting as much pressure on him at first as he normally would. So, and we'll see too, because this is going to be like the first championship fight that we've seen from Khamzat, and I don't know if he had any other ones in like lower promotions, but that's always been the thing on him, right? Is like he's, you know, he comes at you like a bat out of hell for the first round and a half, 2 rounds, and then kind of fades away. So we'll see if it goes longer and goes into championship rounds, we'll get a better idea of like if that's just unfounded claim on all our parts, or if there's something to that.
Another fighter offering his perspective was Rener Ditter, who had trained with both Chimaev and Du Plessis. Having experienced the styles of both fighters firsthand, Du Ritter's insight was highly valued. While he acknowledged Chimaev's dangerous potential, particularly in the early rounds, he felt Du Plessis' toughness and experience would be key factors. Du Ritter didn't think Chimaev would have an easy time finishing Du Plessis early, as the South African had shown time and time again that he could weather storms. If Chimaev didn't secure a finish in the first couple of rounds, Du Ritter believed Du Plessis would begin to take over as the fight wore on.
Absolutely not. I know you've been asked a million times about like the Khamzat and Dricus fight, but now that we do have a date, like a location, all that kind of stuff, maybe you can talk about it in more real terms since we know when and where it's happening.
Yeah, it's August, and where is it?
Chicago.
Oh,
August 16th.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently Khamzat can fight in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah. Now Trump is in office.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about it before. Do you still feel Khamzat has the advantage there?
No, I think Dricus is gonna. I think Dricus will win. Yeah.
Israel Adesanya shared his thoughts. Adesanya had been involved in his own battle with Du Plessis earlier, so his perspective carried some weight. Surprisingly, Adesanya leaned toward Du Plessis in this matchup, although he had his reservations. He predicted that the fight could go in chaotic directions, with Chimaev likely to explode in the early rounds with his explosive pace and wrestling. However, Adesanya believed that Du Plessis would have the opportunity to take over in the later rounds.
Not bad, but I still think Dricus gets it. I think just late finish, yeah, late finish. Khamzat would, yeah, I think Khamzat will, if he wins, it's the first 2 rounds, or the first round. But Dricus is just chaotic.
Michael Venom Paige also made a compelling point about Chimaev's versatility. Paige highlighted how Chimaev seamlessly switched between striking and grappling, making him a very unpredictable and dangerous opponent. His ability to adapt and fluidly transition between different styles presented a significant challenge for Du Plessis, especially if Chimaev could maintain his pace and pressure in the opening rounds. Paige acknowledged that Du Plessis had shown time and again that he wasn't easily broken, and that could be a key factor if the fight turned into a war of attrition. Paige believed that if Du Plessis could survive the early pressure from Chimaev and impose his own will as the rounds wore on, there was a good chance he could turn the tables and surprise everyone with a victory.
DDP and Khamzat, who do you reckon is going to win? It's just hard to say. I would normally say Khamzat would win this fight. At DDP, I don't get how he keeps winning. Obviously, there's something about him because he keeps winning. Even that is an art, knowing how to win. Every time I put my money against him, he always comes up on top.
Rampage Jackson, who had witnessed Chimaev's intensity firsthand in training, also weighed in on the matchup. Jackson, a former UFC light heavyweight champion, praised Chimaev for his intensity and work ethic, comparing him to a beast in the gym. He noted that Chimaev's energy and approach to training were unlike anything he had seen before, even among some of the best fighters in the world. Jackson likened Chimaev's commitment and mental toughness to that of Michael Bisping, someone who was renowned for his relentless training and determination.
One person who's training inside the gym is Khamzat Chimaev. Compared to all the bodies you've seen come through the gym, where does he stack up?
Man, he's one of the best. You know, we had Khalil Browntree coming there. He's a beast as well. You got what's his name? In Lukin. What's his name? Arman and Lukin.
Arman Sarukian.
God damn it, I mess up everybody's name. Arman Sarukian.
Sarukian.
Yeah, he's a beast too. Yeah, but Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him for a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people.
One of the standout predictions came from Robert Whitaker, who has shared the octagon with both Chimaev and Du Plessis. Whitaker's analysis was clear and direct. The key to the fight was whether Chimaev could finish Du Plessis early. Whitaker expressed confidence that Chimaev would likely take Du Plessis down, but he pointed out that the real challenge for Chimaev would be whether he could secure a finish before Du Plessis had a chance to recover and get back to his feet. According to Whitaker, if Chimaev couldn't finish Du Plessis early, he would be in for a tough night.
Khamzat and Dricus fighting for the belt in just over a month's time. What are your initial thoughts on that matchup?
Honestly, I'd have to say Dricus would be a favorite. I think I'm leaning towards Dricus. The whole thing can be summed up. Chimaev will take him down. It's will he finish him before he gets back up? That's the $1 million question. Because if he doesn't finish him on the ground, yeah, Wait and see.
Another fighter who had trained with both competitors was Luke Rockold, who also shared his thoughts on the matchup. Rockold had nothing but praise for Chimaev, calling him an absolute beast due to his aggressive, wrestling-heavy style. Rockold predicted that Chimaev's approach would be a serious challenge for Du Plessis, particularly in the early rounds. However, Rockold didn't think the fight was entirely one-sided. He pointed out that if Du Plessis could survive the first 2 rounds, the tide could turn in his favor.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Who wins, Dricus Du Plessis or Khamzat Chimaev?
So, how did you react to this fight? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more MMA content like this.